What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on FantasyPros with a 12-team full PPR mock where we'll be selecting 7th overall. Our roster, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. But that's pretty much it. So let's begin. And while we wait for this thing to load, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comments, your thoughts along with any questions you guys might have. We'll do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let us begin. Let us see what we have going on, what's taken place so far, and what we can do in this mock. So the first couple of picks, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb at the 102. Typically you see Justin Jefferson as the number 2 wide receiver. Then Bijan, Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, Jahmyr Gibbs. So no real problems there. Again, I'm a little bit surprised that CeeDee and Amon-Ra went before Justin Jefferson, but it's nothing too crazy, I would say. So right now, seemingly Saquon Barkley is the player to go with at the running back position. Do I think he is going to duplicate the season from last year that he had? No, I do not. But, I think that he can still be a very solid running back. I think he obviously still has the top 5 upside. So let's try it out. We haven't had too many Saquon Barkley builds so far. So let's go with Saquon Barkley here and see what takes place in these next couple of selections and if it was, the big brain boot move or not, as they say. So we went with Saquon, then it was Puka, Malik Neighbors, run on wide receivers. Puka, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Nico Collins, Genty, Brian Thomas, Tyreek Hill, one of the earlier spots I've seen him go 202. So I would say that is an outlier. Then Brock Bowers, then Achane, then A.J. Brown. So here, if we were to go wide receiver, McConkey's the next highest graded guy, but I think I've put myself in a position where I'm just going to go highest ranked upside, also player in general. So here I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. Let's go for broke. Let's go for huge upside. We have got Barkley. We are going with Christian McCaffrey. We know what he can do. And, hopefully we have our running back position on lock. But, what can we do now in the 3rd round? This is where it gets interesting, right? Ladd McConkey, then it was JSN, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, a lot earlier than I'm used to seeing him, but I'm completely fine with that. I agree with it. Trey McBride, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry all the way at the 301. That's a lot surprising in a 12-team league, even it being full PPR. Then Josh Allen, Bucky Irving, Lamar, Breece Hall, Rashee Rice. So obviously we need wide receivers here. We're going with upside. If we were to go running back, Josh Jacobs is a good pick. Kyren Williams, those would be probably 2 highest ranked guys on my board. But I want to go with, I need a wide receiver. I believe in Garrett Wilson. I will say not as much as I believed in him the last couple of years, just because I think Justin Fields definitely is a question mark at the quarterback position, but not too much other competition going over there. So I think he can be a big target hog. Let's see what happens with Wilson. I think a good, decent value at this point in time, and how we can put together this wide receiver room on our team. So we won Garrett Wilson, then it was Josh Jacobs, Kyren Williams. Yeah, I mentioned both of those names, but I do think we needed a wide receiver. DJ Moore, Alvin Kamara, Mike Evans, Joe Mixon, James Cook, Jalen Hurts, Terry, and Kenneth Walker. Jaden Daniels is still there. I think, obviously that's a good value pick, but I think I need wide receiver a little bit more. Who do I like? Devontae Adams, Marvin Harrison. I like both of them. I think who is safer? I think it is Marvin Harrison. But I've done a lot of let's just go this way. I'll go with Devontae Adams for the sake of changing it up a little bit, because I feel like every single mock draft that I do, 9 times out of 10, I go with Marvin Harrison right around this time. 4th round, depending on the size of the league. I would just say if this was the real deal, I would be selecting Marvin Harrison. He is one of my guys for this season, but I also think Devontae Adams is a solid pick at this point in time with Matthew Stafford there. So we went with Devontae Adams, and the picks afterwards were as follows. They were Jaden Daniels, George Kittle, Marvin Harrison, Xavier Worthy, Courtland Sutton, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith. Was really hoping DK Metcalf could sneak back to us, but again, I get it. Aaron Rodgers is there. It's going to be a boost to his value. Devonta Smith, Chuba Hubbard, Jaden Waddle, James Conner, Zay Flowers, and Chris Olave. I think right now, looking at the quarterbacks, probably Joe Burrow is the best bet. Wide receiver, Chris Godwin, Jamison Williams, guys that I like. Running back, I assume that there's going to be a run here. But again, I feel okay knowing that we have Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. So let's just go with the quarterback, I guess. We can go with Joe Burrow here. Know that we don't have to worry about that position. And, David Montgomery's still on the board. I think that's a pretty good value pick there, folks. But why is that possible? Why did that come to fruition for us? So after Joe Burrow is Terrell McMillan, way too early for him. Chris Godwin, Hampton, TJ Hawkinson, Jamison Williams, Baker Mayfield, Quinshon Judkins, George Pickens, Laporta, Evan Ingram. So, again, David Montgomery is there. RJ Harvey is there, who I also like. Let's go with David Montgomery. I think he is, a solid contributor, can be a decent flex play. And there's a outside chance RJ Harvey comes back to us, even though, I think it's, again, a outside chance. He was only 2-3 picks away, right? But let's break it down. David Montgomery, then Pacheco, Aaron Jones, Travis Kelce, Mahomes, Jerry Jeudy, Bo Nix, Jordan Addison to kick off the 7th, then Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, RJ Harvey at the 704, Kyler Murray, and Travis Hunter. Honestly, Travis Hunter is somebody that I'm not touching all that much. The fact that I can have Odunze right around this spot, I'm going to take Odunze over Travis Hunter every single time. Tight end, let's make sure I'm not missing anything crazy. I don't believe so. So I'm going to go with Rome Odunze at this point in time. Yeah, let's do that. I think he can break out. I feel as if, if Caleb Williams breaks out, pretty good chance that Rome Odunze does as well. And I much more so like the value on Odunze than I do DJ Moore. If Moore is like a 3rd round pick, again, what round did we get Odunze in the 7th round? After Odunze was Justin Fields, Jared Goff, Henderson, Caleb Williams, Juwan Jennings, Khalil Shakir, Brendan Ayuk, Jalen Warren, DeAndre Swift, and Travis Etienne. So, again, going back to the big board, Caleb Johnson, Brian Robinson as far as running backs, Jacoby Myers, David Njoku is still there. I don't mind Njoku. Let's see if these guys all have tight ends. I think we can go Njoku at this point in time, honestly. Yeah, I think there might be a little bit of a tight end run. So let's go with Njoku. I don't think Jonnu Smith is going to duplicate the success that he had last year. There were a couple tight ends drafted, so this ends up being, I think, a savvy move. Jacoby Myers doesn't make it back to us. I mean, he shouldn't, you could argue he shouldn't have been available there in the 8th round. Tyrone Tracy, Javonte Williams, Stephon Diggs, Caleb Johnson, Jaden Reed, Jonnu, Brian Robinson, Tucker Kraft, Austin Eckler, Ramondre Stevenson, and Mark Andrews. So our starting roster is complete, folks. It's Burrow, Barkley, McCaffrey, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Njoku, Montgomery, Odunze. Now looking at what we can do, I'm just going to go best player available. I think we need to add, a little bit from every which way in regards to running backs and wide receivers. So let's go with Josh Downs here. A slot guy. We'll see what happens in Indianapolis, who wins out that job. That'll be really interesting. But I was also considering Deebo Samuel. He makes it back to us as well. The main reason I'm considering Deebo is because the Terry McLaurin situation is kind of up in the air for Washington right now. If for some reason he isn't there, then, Deebo becomes the number 1 guy. And I think that becomes a really, really good value. J.K. Dobbins, running backs, kind of just looking at it. Jaden Blue, Marshawn. Nothing that I'm getting super excited about. Was he already drafted? Looking at the running backs. We're not going to be able to do the handcuff situation, but that is all right. Let's see. Yeah, Garendo went here at the end of the 10th round. I was hoping that I could nab him and have the McCaffrey situation kind of locked down. Doesn't end up going our way. That a lot of running backs were selected, right? Rico Dowdle, Trey Benson, Roshan, Algier, Grendo, Blake Corum, Cooper Kupp. Just at this point, just reading off the names: Braylon Allen, Michael Pittman, Ricky Pearsall, Jerome Ford. So, are there names at tight end that I really like at this point in time? Nothing super crazy. I think I'll just stay put. Running back, J.K. Dobbins is intriguing. Maybe we go that way. Maybe we go with a Kareem Hunt, who can be hopefully like a PPR play if you're really desperate. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be touchdown dependent. Kareem Hunt might have some more standalone value. So we went with Kareem Hunt. And now one final pick. Who do we have here? Wide receivers, tight ends. Maybe we go with a backup tight end just in case. If something doesn't pan out with Njoku, Dalton Kincaid, Dallas Goedert. Who are other names that I like at tight end? I think a potential breakout, which FantasyPros is going to hate this pick. But yeah, man, it's all the way down there. It's Brenton Strange, 31st overall. Yeah, I guess I can just cool the Jets. I don't have to draft him right now. I can look elsewhere. Just high upside guys that I can, kind of highlight here. I think Rashid Shaheed, if something happens to Chris Olave, is a decent choice. So let's just go there, knowing that my preference is a tight end. But I'm curious to see the draft grade we get. I think, it's a solid roster, wide receiver. We need these guys to pan out, right? Like we need Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams to produce at the levels that we know they can. But overall, 83, low level B. I kind of agree with it. I like our running back depth, Barkley, McCaffrey, Montgomery. Quarterback's good. I like our tight ends and I should say tight end, wide receiver on the bench. I think there's also some depth. Rome Odunze, Downs, Debo, Kareem Hunt. But hey, let me know your thoughts. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter, X at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. We will do our best to answer any questions you guys might have. But in the meantime, we will see you guys in future videos.